Welcome to our training videos on access for CC4Teams application. CC4Teams has many features and functions that will be covered in our training videos. You can watch all the videos or pick the ones that cover your specific requirements. Let's get started.
Today I will show you how to navigate the CC4Teams application. So CC4Teams is available from within your Teams client. Just by clicking the CC4Teams application icon, you'll be able to start using the CC4Teams app. As an agent, you will start off on the My Interactions tab. But when looking at the My Interactions tab, you'll see on your left side column, these are where calls and emails, WhatsApp, and etc. interactions will appear. Under Waiting is where customer calls or emails or interactions will appear. To extend the information a little bit more, you do have a slider down the bottom. Just by sliding this over, I'll see a little bit more details, such as what queue they're in, or if it's an interaction from an omnichannel, what's the subject of the email as well. Looking at my list here, I can also see the waiting timer as well, and if I hover over the particular call, I have the ability to pick it up as well. Active, so once you answer a call, generally this is where your call will appear, along with your CC4Teams call controls. Not only will agents have the ability to access My Interactions, but they will also have access to their history. So under history, this is where all of your interactions will appear for different users or different customers that you've spoken to. You'll see details such as name, contact info, queue that has come through, whether it has been handled, and if you hover over it, you'll see who has actually handled it. You'll see the date and the time, duration, and then you'll have options to either call them back or reopen a conversation. All of the information in here is also searchable. It just requires a minimum of 3 characters to search all of the content through here. Going back to My Interactions, on the top right hand side, you will also have 3 different buttons that are present. The first button here is your contacts list. Your contacts list is in link with your Active Directory, so all users from within your organization will appear in this list. You'll see the users' present states, their job titles, and their departments. You can even hover over a user to see if they've got any display pictures, just in case you need to recognize them by photos. This list is also searchable. Yet again, it just needs a minimum of 3 characters, and it will actually search not only their name, but also their job title and their department as well. Your list is sorted into 3. So you have down the bottom your all list. All essentially is every single person in your contacts list. To move these people up the list, you can go to the 3 dots, select it, and select Add to Favorites. By selecting Add to Favorites, this will then put that contact up the top. You'll also have different methods to contact this contact. If you click the phone symbol, you will see their contact details. Email, this will actually start an outbound email to the user. Teams chat. This will pop up a chat, so that way you can interact with this user. Not only that, you can also do other things like click on the particular detail if you need to see anything extra about them. But your list also has a My Queue section. So under My Queues, essentially these are all users that are members of the queues that you're a part of. So that way you can see who is in your queue and what current status are they on in Teams. You also have the ability to add your own contact into this list as well. So by simply selecting the Add Contact button up the top, you can give them a name. Now the name is compulsory. It's also listed when the person calls in. So if a person's calling in, whatever name you've written here, if it does recognize either the mobile or the email address, that name will populate. So it is a requirement that you must give it a name, but also a phone number or at least a SIP email if you open up more fields. Over on the right, we also have our contact queues. So contact queues means essentially this user that I'm creating will be shared with members of these queues. So these members inside of these call queues or even email queues, whatever it might be, will then have access to see this contact when they call in, but also call this contact as well. This is a single way of adding it, but there is also a possibility of adding it in bulk through our admin center. The next part over is your resources. So resources are essentially links that have been pre-configured in your admin center, so you can actually quickly load a different website or profile. So this will actually pop out into a different screen and then show you that as well through there. The next part over, so this is your profile. So essentially you have one inside of Teams, but you also have a CC4Teams profile as well. Now you may notice that we also have an extra present state in here. Your present state between Microsoft Teams and CC4Teams is a 2-way sync, which means if I change my present state here, it will then reflect back into Teams. And if I change it in Teams, it will reflect back into CC4Teams. So it does go back and forth. You may also notice on CC4Teams present states, you may have extra customizable present states. If one of these is selected, it will change here and then also change back into Teams itself. But as you may notice, I have selected admin under do not disturb. However, Teams does not have that present state, so Teams will switch to do not disturb as it is the overall present. These states are customizable and can be customized per queue. You'll also notice down the bottom here that you've also got active queues. So these queues essentially are queues that you are a member of. If it is ticked, it means you are in that queue, ready to take calls. You may have the option to unselect queues, so that will unjoin you out of the queue. However, your supervisor or admin may have locked you down, so that way you can only see a tick in each queue that you're a part of.